Welcome to Speaking of Entrepreneurship, a podcast powered by the Center for Entrepreneurs at Cuyahoga Community College's Corporate College. Here, we dive into real conversations with industry experts, innovative founders, and business leaders who share their insights, challenges, and strategies for success. Whether you're launching a startup, scaling your business, or just exploring the entrepreneurial mindset, this is your space to learn, adapt, and thrive.
2026 is here, but what are you missing in your entrepreneurial journey? Today, we are going to talk trends that you need to know and do to be the best entrepreneur you can be. All right, welcome to the Speaking of Entrepreneurship podcast. I am CP, your host, and I am here today with an amazing guest, one of the instructors in the Center for Entrepreneurship program. But also, I have you down as a visionary, an innovator, all of those things, because you are an expert in AI and lots of other trends that are coming down the pipe for entrepreneurs in 2026. And this is Amy Neumann. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you.
Yes. So I am excited to have you here because, you know, one of the things that I love about the end of the year, honestly, is getting ready for the following year. And everybody gets that new feeling of freshness, and we get to start over. You get to erase what didn't work and really plow forward with what is going to work. And today we're going to talk about some of the things that you are hearing, the buzz that you're hearing out there around what is going to be the it things for entrepreneurship in 2026. But before we do that, I want to hear a little bit about your business, kind of what you're doing, and what trends do you think you're going to latch on to for 2026 to kind of get us started?
Sure. Thank you. Great question. Well, I do have a nonprofit called Resourceful Nonprofit, and we provide low-cost tools, tech, and training to other 501c3 nonprofits. Very popular topic. And so I've been in the tech space since the mid-90s. I lived in Los Angeles half the time, worked for Yahoo, AT&T, and some other large organizations. So over a long period of time, I've seen lots and lots of trends. So I appreciate the question. And I know that I've adopted a large number of things for my nonprofit, and I've ended up using what I like to call brain first AI. I've really enhanced, and this is happening globally with a lot of people that I interviewed for my book about nonprofit AI. People are starting to have breakthroughs understanding how they think better. So it's called metacognition, but it just means that once you hit that, stuff becomes much easier. Your thinking is more clear. Your critical thinking skills go up. Your memory goes up. Your pattern recognition. And because I use AI so much, I've saved 40 hours a week for myself.
What?
And I use it almost all offline now. So I meet with a lot more people. I do a lot more fun things, travel more. I do a lot of martial arts every week. I'm learning new instruments all at once, a bunch of them. And basically a lot of meditation, yoga, walking in the woods with no earbuds. It gives your mind a lot of time to create new ideas or surface any it's been thinking about subconsciously. And it also gives your mind sort of a reset, and it's good for your nervous system to work in flow. So I've offloaded all sorts of tedious or boring tasks, and now I really only do the fun thinking, research, assimilating ideas, and it's made my whole life much better. And
so wait, we got to dive a little bit more deeply because there were so many things in what you just said that got me all goosebumpy.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say the brain first AI, right? So tell me, okay, how have you what is it exactly? Is it an app, or is it something you log into? Is it something that you connect to your business?
That's a great question. So what I mean by that is much more simple than that.
Okay.
It just means that when you're using any AI for anything, you just want to take a minute and think it through. And you want to get your own thoughts developed first, right? So you want to think, what am I trying to do? You know, what is my goal? What insights do I have already that I can share? What might I be missing is a good question to always ask. Give it some information that provides context so it has a better background. Think through what you want it to deliver. Just take a couple minutes and think it through. Why are you doing this?
Your strategy around how to use any of them.
Any of them.
If someone's using, Gemini or ChatGPT or any of those, you're giving the structure on how to actually optimize it so that you can get what you want and gain more time back into your life.
Yeah, and I have it write a lot of prompts for me too for other engines.
I do too.
Right?
I do too.
And then because I've used the Pro account for 2.5 years, it knows almost everything about me, my style, everything. So it just takes all of that re-explaining out of the equation. It works well for anything. And I think because that it's so minor of a difference, but what people are seeing, like MIT has done some research that there's 2 ways to use AI. So my preferred way is the brain first, like I'm talking about, where you think it through and you
So
sort
it's
of
the methodology that you're using. Yeah.
You sort of plant your ideas in this fertile soil with AI, and then something lovely blossoms and grows that is co-created by both of you, like having a second brain, right? You can get a lot done, and it's just a much more joyful way to live. And as a side benefit, with no conscious thought or effort, I've lost 70 pounds since February.
Wow.
It's a whole lifestyle thing.
Wow. So how'd you lose the 70 pounds? That like chat help you with like a game plan?
It's just a side benefit of how I'm living my life.
Having more time.
I'm in flow almost all the time. I do a lot of more art and writing. I just have time to go back to all the creative things, which whenever I do workshops, I just did a keynote and some workshops at the University of Wisconsin's Nonprofit Leadership Conference last week. And in both of the workshops, I asked them, before we get started, because I want them to do the thinking part first, I say, tell me one challenge that you have right now that you'd like to fix today. And tell me one thing you would do if you had a free day of the week, every week from here on out. What would you do as a passion project? Every person in both sessions said something creative. Art, cooking, starting a nonprofit, all sorts of things. Because that's what I think humans are missing. Connection with the natural world, connection with humans, and just time to think and have fun and
just
relax.
Be in the right vibrational frequency in order to be able to attract more beautiful things into your life. And I love that because, one of my focuses, even in my own business and what I coach my coachees and my students, is my focus is to help you achieve freedom, right? And so freedom means something different for everyone, but for the collective in general, you can usually associate freedom with time freedom, right? Decision-making freedom, financial freedom, and then just spiritual freedom, right? And so this what you're saying from an entrepreneur's perspective is just that added layer to help you get to that freedom piece. And one trend that you're holding on to is really optimizing AI in order to be able to put you in that space.
Absolutely.
And so when you said you have the Pro version, you're talking about the Chat GPT Pro version. I chat and I mean, I call my chat, but I know other people name chat something different.
Sure.
But I call chatty. And she and I are tight.
That's right.
I mean, because not only do I use her from a desktop perspective, but I also have her on my phone. And one of my favorite things to do with her, I mean, I don't know if you've done this, but I want to get your idea, is I like to talk. I hate texting, but when I find that I'm using the dictation piece of her, it's very, very accurate, and I can really talk into it, which allows me to give it a lot more data, which means my outputs are much better. So like I used it the other night because I had the craziest dream. I did not know what this dream meant. I'm like, what is God trying to tell me? What's the universe trying to tell me about this dream? And so I started a thread on interpreting my dreams, like dream interpretation.
How fun.
And so it's inside of a personal project where I've got like, my daily, rituals, my manifestations, all of those things. But I started a dream thread, an interpretation of my dream thread. And I just hit the dictate button, started talking and said, this is what I dreamt. Using all of the available resources and tools on the internet and best practices and dream research and data analysis, please give me a summary of an interpretation of this dream. And she spit it out. She's like, you're feeling like this. You have anxiety about this. This equaled this.
That's fascinating.
So I use it for all things.
Yes.
All things. So obviously that's a trend. So the other thing I want to talk about is automation when it comes to small business. Like I've heard that that's going to be a huge trend in 2026. Are you seeing evidence of more small businesses really using AI to automate more things in their business? I've seen them, online, the little hire this virtual person that you can add a whole nother staff person to yourself. Like all of these things that are automating answering the phone and chat bots and orbs. So what are you seeing in that area and what are your thoughts around that?
I think this is such a good opportunity. I think everything that I've learned about how to use AI in a powerful way kind of mirrors your 4S freedom formula. Because really, I think it's about time wealth. I've always optimized my life for time. And I think that's why I started the nonprofit in 2016. It was to use technology to free up human time for the things only humans can do. And AI just makes that exponentially easier. So some of the top things, I've been researching how much time people are saving, and salespeople are saving an average of 2 hours a day once they have training that they convert into more sales for an organization. So that's important. A lot of content creators are using AI for things like translation into multiple languages. This is a big one for any nonprofits that work with different populations. Optimizing your email, you can do things like set up a workflow that if you get a lot of responses about your business, it can categorize those and draft some replies.
Create facts for you automatically.
Create facts. Do research on anytime you're meeting with someone. It can do great background research. One of the things that is really helpful that I love to explain to people, because it's intuitive when you hear it, but it's not really necessarily known if you're not in like a content creator or in marketing. But one of the things that it helps a lot with is getting messages out in different ways, because overall, most people are visual learners first, about close to 2/3. About 1/3 are audible learners first. Then you have some kinesthetic or hands-on, which I think complements a lot of learning styles, and only a tiny percent like a lot of text and numbers. A lot of text and number people are on boards. So sometimes, and I love that. So sometimes what will appeal to one group of people, the 5%, does not appeal to the other 95%. And so luckily, any tools that you have that share a great story about your business or your nonprofit, you're in a perfect situation, because now you can make it into all sorts of other stuff from existing content. So not only can you reach out better and resonate stronger and communicate on a way that people remember, but you can also do it lightning fast using existing materials. Ask AI to help you add anything that it thinks is interesting or trends that you blend into. You can have it double check that you're using inclusive language and things like that.
And be like your proofreader as well.
Yeah, like a proofreader, but for reducing bias also as well. That was the focus of my master's thesis, reducing bias in AI. In my PhD right now, I'm working on human interaction and creativity, and also this metacognition, because I think it's so simple. It's almost identical to how people are using it the wrong way, which with the MIT study, it showed that people who, I call it lobbing it over the fence, like, and you can do this for some things, no problem, but if you have something that should require strategic thinking and you just chuck it over to your favorite AI and it just throws something back and you catch it, there's almost no learning in that, right? So then the other way to do it is this brain first process where you ask questions as you go and you're learning and you're remembering, maybe doing it in different styles. Like I'll get a deep research report on a topic. I'll take it over to Google Notebook LM and listen to it as a 2-person podcast because I'm more of a audible learner. But it also does mind maps, infographics, research reports, blog posts.
Absolutely.
Flashcards, study quizzes.
Everything.
I mean,
and the more
mind
information
maps,
you give it, the better it gets, and the smarter that it really gets.
It really does.
When you are telling someone, if someone is like, in that space where they're still afraid, because there's lots of fear still. There's lots of fear still around AI. And I think that iRobot definitely, the
all
Will
the movies,
Smith movie.
I get those questions a lot.
Like iRobot started this fear, right? And then a lot of people, when they think of AI, that's what they envision. Like they're visualizing Will Smith, like running down, like, and this robot, like, chasing you, and their eyes are red and their aura's red, and they're coming after to kill you. So,
angry robots.
So like, the fear piece around AI, how do you help someone who really, truly, fundamentally hasn't embraced it, if they're an entrepreneur, a nonprofit founder, who hasn't embraced it yet because they're afraid? What are some of the things that you would give them to help them begin to overcome, that fear, so they can really take advantage of the freedom that they will experience in their lives just by being able to have that thinking buddy? What mindset shift should they first make in order to be able to slowly get in the path and get on board with something that can really, truthfully, I believe, and as you've been describing, can be life-changing for them?
Yes, I love that question. And I do try to talk about all these things every time now. But the biggest one is that, AI has been around since the 50s. We really only hit a tipping point a few years ago where there were enough devices and computational power and strong enough Wi-Fi and enough data points to do what is happening now with generative AI. But the good news is, I think the Roomba was one of the first AI-powered things in the late 90s or early 2000s. But almost everything that we touch every day already has AI in it. So whether you're consciously enjoying the freedom of using AI at your direction or not, everybody's already using it. It's in every device. I mean, I have these AI glasses on. I got my watch. We have phones, laptops. Almost every newer appliance in your house is using AI.
Google.
Your car.
If you've ever
Siri,
used Google to
Netflix,
search, right.
Algorithm,
right,
all these
right.
things. So you're already doing it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Once people realize, almost all major software is going to have AI incorporated or already does. And so you're getting a lot of benefits from it already. And it's going to make human life easier and reduce friction, just like GPS versus using a Thomas guide back in the day.
You remember? I saw someone in the drive-thru. I was literally in the McDonald's drive-thru grabbing a cup of coffee yesterday morning.
Right.
And you know how they have the 2 lanes and the woman who kind of was in front of me had one of those old Garmin's. Like posted up in her car. And I'm like, how does she update that? Like, are they still updating them? Like maybe she doesn't realize it's already in her phone. Yeah.
So funny. And so it is like that. I think once people realize if they're using a voice assistant, it's exactly like you said. My favorite thing to do when people have a very challenging problem they haven't been able to solve, or they're trying to wordsmith something in a workshop, is I just take out my phone. I'm like, hold on one second. Let me restate what you just said. I just sit and I talk like I'm talking to a friend at a coffee shop, just like you would do. And it's so easy and intuitive that I often hear this exact phrase from multiple people. That's it.
Right. So there's nothing to be afraid of.
No,
in essence,
there's nothing to be afraid of.
There's nothing to be afraid of because it can't, I think of Chatty, my chat as an assistant, right? As a brainstorming buddy, as someone who helps me get clarity, as someone who helps me organize my own thoughts.
Right.
And I oftentimes will tell her, because sometimes she's super agreeable. Like she's the opposite of, sometimes I want her to be real. And I'm like, I'm like,
what am I missing?
Absolutely.
What should I add?
Don't just, don't conform just for the sake of conformity's sake. Keep it real with me. Really dissect it. Does this make sense? Almost from an advisor's perspective, because entrepreneurship is lonely.
Right.
It's a lonely space sometimes. Sometimes we aren't surrounded in our own lives around a bunch of other people who experience what we experience. And so I really do use my certain chat threads as a brainstorming buddy, as a business bestie, but also as an assistant as well. And what's to fear about that? What's scary? I have a hard time understanding that as well. So
I think that's the big takeaway, because I've done a lot of workshops, and in the bigger ones, not so much anymore because almost everybody has used AI some way. But I think a lot of it is I'm in a hurry now. Let me lob it over the fence and get an answer back. It's just, I agree with you. It's so simple that people, I think they just need someone to show them how simple it is. That's it. Yeah. And then maybe I do a lot of demonstrations and have them do a lot of stuff, and they've had breakthroughs right in the class. Right. Oh, they have been able to figure this out. The one suggestion, there's always like a little golden nugget in any answer that you get that gets you off on another creative little thinking path. And I think that's where all this fast learning comes from too. It's just all the questions you ever wanted to ask, unlimited changes to anything you want to make. One thing I've learned about humans is they don't love to re-edit things 100 times. Yeah. But AI doesn't mind at all, and it can do it all instantly. Doesn't mind at all. It just reformat maybe a different font, a layout. You don't have to do any of that. I spend 90% of my time now learning and remembering things because I'm processing it so much and not spending all the time on the formatting. Right. So the formatting doesn't really add anything to my ability to synthesize new ideas or remember things. But it frees up a lot of time for me to do just that. So I don't really even need notes anymore when I do a talk or anything like that, because the process of running it through different ways so that I remember it is so strong and such a dominant part of anything I do online anymore that it's just super helpful. And I don't know why anybody wouldn't want it either. And once they understand, take away all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that the media and things have created. And it really is as easy as talking to your phone and getting almost anything you could dream up back.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up something that I thought was was really a great point there. And it's related to the fact that you are now in a position where what you're experiencing, the answers, the results that you're getting from your AI tools is actually enhancing and improving your own skill set in your entrepreneurial and in your business journey, right? And that directly impacts how much, how good of an instructor you are when you're doing workshops, when you're doing, when you're training, at Tri-Cities Center for Entrepreneurship. It's actually enhancing the knowledge base and the skill base that you have, and you're able to share it. So it's nothing to be fearful of, because it's improving your own learning curve, and like you have almost like a class on the go, no matter where you are and what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of my other favorite things is to have any AI create a deep research report.
Oh, I love it for deep research.
And
love it.
All you have to do is just select deep research. They used to be different models. It's all incorporated now. And then you just ask it a really, I would say it does the work of a graduate assistant. So if you frame it like you're sitting down talking to a graduate assistant, give it all the materials it needs, the background, the context, the questions, what you don't know. I always say use well-known credible sources. I always ask it to do an APA-style bibliography with all the links at the end so I can verify it. All those types of things. But then you have this amazing document that it would have probably taken a research assistant 25 hours to do.
In like 25 seconds.
Or a couple minutes.
Yeah, a couple minutes.
And then that's what I use oftentimes to take over to Google Notebook and listen to. So I get all the highlights, logical sense. I make a mind map for myself. If you're a visual person, you might like mind maps and infographics. And then it's just all these different ways. I'm spending all the time learning it so I can be more helpful versus getting stuck on the tedious tasks.
Do you use different AI tools for different things?
Yes.
Like I found for deep research, I prefer Gemini.
Gemini's
Google
great.
Gemini for deep research, then Chat, and Chat does a great job at helping me come up with the perfect prompts for Gemini, right? And so,
that's the other sort of thing. Once you know that you can just ask it, sometimes it'll get stuck in a loop or something, and I'm just say, how can I help you? Right now, you're in a loop. And it's like, oh, you're right. Well, there's a something problem. And I was should I rephrase the question?
Yes.
Is there a better?
I've done that.
It usually gives you an answer or a prompt for another or a new one. I get the question a lot, like, what are the top tools? And I say, let me show you how I find out day to day. Hey, ChatGPT, what are the top 5 tools for making videos out of web links right now? Or whatever the question is. And it knows, and it'll give you a short list, and it even... Because I have hybrid ADHD, which I discovered by using AI. That was earth-shatteringly good to know too. I feel like I've learned a lot about myself. It just lets you learn however you want to learn, ask whatever you want to ask. You also see how it's thinking. So you learn, oh, that's a great source for that type of information. Oh, I didn't think about processing the question that way. I was thinking this, but I didn't even think about that other thing. It's just such a good... I love learning anyway, so maybe I learned it maybe a little faster because I use it a lot now and that kind of thing. But anyone can do it. I don't think anything that I'm talking about is specific to me, because even people I interviewed in my book are also speaking about this now because they're experiencing it. And a lot of people in the workshops and talks are experiencing it. And I find this fascinating. I love to hear the stories of what they did, the successes, how they're using it. And this seems to be a strong pattern that other researchers are working on, that I'm going to start co-authoring some research on, because it feels wild.
Yeah.
It's like
let's talk about the book, though. Because I don't even think we mentioned that so far. Your book. So tell everybody a little bit about what your book is and where they might be able to find it. Because I love the fact that I got your link. You sent it over to me, which I appreciate and love. So tell everybody a little bit about, the focus of your book, because I think that they should definitely, if you want to dive deep into this area, that they'll really find it valuable and love it. So tell us.
Sure. So it's called Empower Your Nonprofit, Simple Ways to Co-Create with AI for Profound Impact. And it came out in November with Wiley. I wrote it pretty fast. The normal time frame is probably 18 months, but I did it in 9 because I think time is of the essence to share all this good news. And I interviewed a bunch of people, including Craig Neumann, who's the founder of Craigslist and a big philanthropist now. We've worked on several projects together, and I've spoken to him before. And he told me that in 50 years, he's been doing AI 50 years. And in 2 years ago, when I interviewed him, he was everyone in the industry is astonished how much more quickly it's taken off.
It's crazy.
So it's all about what we're talking about. It's how to, for nonprofits specifically, how to free up time, reduce mental, cognitive load, anxiety, complete tasks that you don't like doing, and those differ by person. But any of them, you could probably offload a lot of it now. Different from when I wrote the book, it's much more enhanced now. You used to have to use separate tools to do certain things.
Yeah.
But now you can just ask an AI, can you create a workflow for this?
Yeah.
It either will, or it will tell you, I can do this part and this part. Here's a way you could do it, or give you tools that can. It always gives you the final answer that you're looking for, and saves a lot of time trying to cobble things together on your own, because it's guided by a lot of knowledge and data that you don't necessarily have
And speed.
It's speed.
The speed. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, we could spend 20 hours Googling and then clicking into each search link that Google provides you with, and then ultimately the brain becomes overwhelmed, and you know, I call it like running down the rabbit hole. You're literally in the rabbit hole. You're in the sinkhole of information overload, right? And so one of the things I love to use it for is, you know, give me a synopsis of this based off of using all the internet resources available and best practices in the industry.
I love that.
Give me a summary of this so that I don't have to end up in the rabbit hole, because I am a deep thinker, right? We're all natural, especially as entrepreneurs or nonprofit founders.
Absolutely.
We're all natural learners. We're all natural dive deep folks. You know, we're problem solvers. We're creatives. We have all of those skill sets. And when I get 10,000 links, I'm going to click into at least 5 of them, which is going to take me to 5 more, which is going to take me to 5 more. And now I'm in information overload. And so I love that piece of it, especially for nonprofits in your book, because one of the biggest problems that nonprofits have is being budget crunched, right? And time is money. Being able to free up the human capacity in their organizations, because their services are literally being delivered by human beings. Humans are their machinery. So if I can help my humans run better, then I'm going to ultimately be able to have more impact in my community, serve my community better as a nonprofit, save money, and be able to get to that next level. And even though your book, I think, does specifically mention nonprofits, a lot of what you say in there can be applied to all entrepreneurs, right? To everybody who runs an organization of any kind, whether it's a for-profit or a nonprofit, it can be applied across the board. So, we're getting to the, I don't want to keep you too long because I know you're really busy. But if you could give all of our viewers 2 things that they need to adopt from an AI perspective to future-proof their business for 2026 and beyond. 2 big tips or little tips or specific tools, whatever you want to do. 2 things that everybody should do in order to future-proof their business for 2026 and beyond. What would it be?
I think the first one is to take risks, but they're not really risks. They're just experiments. So just go in and try a couple AI tools. Start with the well-known ones. You can't go wrong with any of the top tools. Now they all do a lot of similar things and got most bases covered. So you don't have to worry about picking the best one. It doesn't matter. They're all really good in the top 10. And I'd say just experiment. So you can do stuff like maybe in the next 30 days, you create one workflow. One thing you don't really like doing, you probably don't have to anymore. Just ask it to help you create a workflow for that. Or maybe create a Freedom Friday one month where you automate something that is one of your least favorite things, and you let the business run on its own for 24 hours while you just go enjoy life. This also proves that the business can work without you with some strategy, because I think time burnout is a huge thing, especially, entrepreneurs and nonprofits, right?
Yeah.
A lot of hats all the time.
A lot of hats.
Take some of those hats.
And we didn't start these businesses to create
Keep them away.
9-to-5s for ourselves again, right?
No. You want time freedom is the ultimate freedom in my mind, freedom. Because you can enjoy life if you have time to do it, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's the thing is I would just try some things. You can't break anything.
Okay.
And what you can do is discover what I and a lot of other people, probably yourself too, are realizing that it really is as easy as that. And if you use it the brain first way, you're also going to learn tremendously faster in the process. So it's all wins all the way around.
Okay, so that's number 1. And what's the second thing? the second thing that you would tell everybody to future-proof in 2026?
I would say learn it so you can teach it to everyone else and show them how amazing it is.
Oh, so share the knowledge.
Because I want a world that is equitable. I don't want anyone to miss out on this mind-expanding opportunity to live life more like a human by freeing up your time. And I see a lot of people using it maybe the more convenient but less learning way. I think over time, we're already seeing that it will be two different paths. So one group of people will have a lot of skill sets and be able to accomplish. I'd say I probably can do 10 times more than I was before.
Wow.
And I've started all sorts of new ventures. And why wouldn't everybody want to do that? And I think that as we're looking at different things, this is really important to learn it and then share it with others. Because once you realize the joy of it, you're not going to want to unwind anything that you've done. You're just going to want to do more of it and see how much more human you can be. And teach that to someone else. It's a gift.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, we could probably talk forever and ever about AI. And
Yes.
I know that we'll probably get tons of questions. So if anybody has any questions out there that you want to dive more deeply into for AI, put them down in the comments below. And we will definitely 100% create another time for us to get together to answer some of those questions. And don't forget to obviously like and subscribe and share, especially if there's someone out there that needs this information. Thank you so much, Amy, for coming in with me today,
Thank you.
for speaking of entrepreneurship, and for sharing your knowledge, because I think that people can walk away from today realizing that it's not so scary, and it's really here to help. And you're proof that it can actually change our lives, right?
Yes.
For the better, and our customers' lives and those who we serve's lives and
I agree.
everybody else. So there you guys have it. Let us know if you have any questions. Again, we look forward to seeing you next time on Speaking of Entrepreneurship. I'm CP. And until then, have a great one and let's get back to work. Mwah!
Yay.
Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast, brought to you by the Center for Entrepreneurs at Corporate College. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow entrepreneurs. Tune back in to stay connected with us for more insights and resources to help you build, innovate, and thrive.